Alright folks, my name is Freyn and I'm back with some more Churchill. This time, in my opinion, possibly the best of the 4 Churchills available. This is the German Churchill. Premium variant. The main difference, of course, or in fact the only difference to the British Churchill 3 being it's on the German team and therefore it doesn't have to fight its main threat of that long 75. You wouldn't think it'd make such a difference, really, but different opponents, and it really does. In the similar way to the Ariete, the M26 Pershing that I've recently made a video on, the change in team actually makes a massive difference. These little guys here, the Panzer IV-F2, they're your normal largest threat if you are driving the British Churchill Mark III. That long 75 cuts straight through the front of this without a care in the world. And of course now, they're on my team. They're there to back me up against the enemy. And, well, I've not played this in a while until this past week. And honestly, I forgot just how much of a difference that team change made to this tank. That's enough intro ramble for now, so I'm on to Eastern Europe for this first game. As you can see, it is domination, and I'm being quite aggressive down the middle towards the B point. I couldn't entirely decide on which way I wanted to go here. I was thinking down the waterline, but there is a T-34 on the cap already, or at the cap. He's not taking it. Couldn't return fire due to the large tree in my way, but that's already one shot bounced. And yeah, we'll swing out this way. He's down. May as well get the cap while I'm here. The rest of my team has, I can't believe I'm about to say this considering what I'm driving, but the rest of my team has caught up. And we've already got a few new targets, so get the gun on that 34E. No idea what's shooting me in the background, so random shot. There we go, ammo down on the Cromwell. Let's get the breach for the T-34. He's dead as well. Slowly await my track repair. If you do ever come across a Churchill, I would recommend trying to get rid of his gunner first and then go for the track, because that track repair is really long.
We've captured most of the strategic zones.
But I'm back on the move. There's another T-34 down there. Again, can't quite see him through all the smoke and the bushes. I'm going to return to my original plan of down the waterline. Quickly finish the KV on my way past. And we had a couple of flares over the river, so I thought it might be reasonably clear over there. Turns out, nope, they just not noticed this guy. So it's a good job I turned around. The M43 is the tougher variant of the Shermans at this BR. It's the best armoured one unless you get up tiered into 4.7. For this battle I'm only up tiered to 4.3. So we've got his breach. I tried to go for the MG port. In the end he turned enough that I probably should have taken his side instead. I committed myself to that MG port. Although, admittedly, can't remember if it actually has any less armour. Some of them do, some of them don't. It depends on how old the model is. He's dead. Panzer 3J got him. But I'm already crossing the river. Maybe not the smartest plan with a tank that's got this sort of speed restriction on it to go over the bridge like that, but too late, I've already made my decision. You've kind of got to commit once you start these things. There's 2 T-34s over there, so let's start trying to pick them apart. Unlikely to get any of the kills. I can pen the upper plate of a T-34 with this longer 6-pounder variant, but we're not likely to get any at that range, so going for the turrets. Just deal the crew damage that I can, and then we'll wait for them to head forwards and towards B. We have lost everything in the town that was on the enemy side of B, so there will be something coming this way. Now, one of the T-34s has already gone past and died of a cap. The other one, well, he's yet to turn up, but there's only so long I want to be waiting. Gained a few kills from here, we've thinned out the numbers a bit. I'm going to move up, get to the next little street that I can see down. See what we can find. KV-1 just killed the Stug at B-cap and I can see something firing. Little slow in reverse, and there's not really that much of a possibility to shoot him down that particular road. If he was closer to the water's edge I'd have more time, but that's going to be a very narrow shot to try and get as he crosses. So I'm going to park myself up here. I can see both sides of this little wall. I'm angled to both sides if they try and take a shot, which is how you want to play the Churchill, really. Angle your armour. Not too much, just enough to make it a bit stronger. There's that second T-34 from before. And the enemy has made it to B, so probably should have gone for the engine there. So we'll do that now with the follow-up. And then, well, my plan was to try and blow up the ammunition, because it's pretty hard to hit the crew on the other side of the tank. Oh, that's the ammo rack finally. This game is actually a good demonstration of something that I don't really do as often as I should anymore, and that's if I'm taking more than one shot to kill a target, I need to actually come out of my scope between shots and check around me for any new targets, any new threats. I was doing that there, coming out from shooting that SU to look around, see the other T-34s. I get a lot more tunnel visioned lately. It's something I need to work on. I doubt I will, really. I'm getting forgetful and a bit lazy and complacent, but it is something that makes a big difference. But don't blind yourself. But my team is starting to get back to B now. I know there's still that KV there, or there was. I think he just died. Obviously there's the T-34 that capped the point. But I'm not particularly fast, and I'd like to move up. Still making mistakes as I go, though. Not angling myself when I see that T-34. Just taking a shot straight to the side. He hit my turret ring, took out one of my crew. Now I have to stop for repairs. So now the T-34 can get through the side armour of this tank if I'm unangled like I was. So I'm quite lucky that I didn't just get one shot there. Well, the game's going well so far. I've done a good amount of damage. It's a really good gun for the tier, is this 6-pounder. Obviously it doesn't have explosive filler, so you're still not going to be one-shotting things by hitting them in the turret, as demonstrated with most of those T-34s. But it's got a nice amount of pen and it fires very quickly. And on the Churchill Mark III, this particular version of the 6-pounder is only on the Churchill Mark IIIs and on the AEC Mark II if you have that event armoured car. The Cromwell and the Crusaders unfortunately do not get the shells with quite as high a pen. There's about an extra, I think it's 15mm of pen on this particular variant of the gun. And something that's been added in since I last played Churchill Mark III is it now has a single plane stabilizer. Now, the Churchill isn't quite slow enough for that to kick in at all times. It's only when going slower, but it does help you get that shot off quicker when you start slowing down or when you stop. And it certainly felt like it made a difference. Despite being on the German team, you are not impervious to damage. Side shots will still cause you a lot of pain, especially side of the turret or rear of the turret. The front of your turret is also still penable by those Russian 76s and by obviously opposing 6-pounders if you meet them. So you're not immune to damage. But your largest threats are gone, so you can be a bit more aggressive with this. It's not often you see a flanking Churchill, but it's working out for me here. Now the enemy are back at B, and there is something on our side of, well, sorry, my side of the river. But I'm going to continue my flank. It'll be faster than trying to head back to the cap, certainly. Churchill is not a speedy tank. We've already established this, although this version is a bit faster than the Churchill Mark 7. There goes the Cromwell that was on my side of the river. Not a great shot. I really want to stop his mobility. I've got a fantastic rate of fire, but if the enemy gets away, that's not going to matter. There we go, engine shot. And I just keep firing into the smoke until I get my target. It's kill number 9. And I'm down to just 10 ammunition. A few of you may have noticed as of late that I am bringing excessively large amounts of ammunition in certain tanks. Now, in some cases this is simply oversight or just a remnant of when the ammo rack orders were changed and some of the more dangerous racks could no longer be emptied. In others tanks, it's because of games like this. Now of course they don't happen that often. Well, apparently more often in this variant than in the other Churchills I've driven. But they're not a guarantee, and sometimes the extra ammo will come back to haunt me. But I have been finding more games where I'm running out of ammunition. So I've started to bring a little more. Whether it's because I have more targets, or because I'm simply taking more risks with my shots, firing more into the distance at tracers and puffs of smoke. Who knows? But I am starting to run out of ammunition a lot more often. And I am aware of having only 6 ammo right now, so I didn't want to head to their spawn. I don't really want to be there anyway. But with only 6 ammo, it's kind of a recipe for disaster, so heading back, angle up a bit just in case, shoot the M4 in the back. He was missing a few crew, so that was a one-shot. I probably again should have gone for the engine first. Make sure he can't turn around. But I'm low on ammunition and I want to try and get these kills as quickly as I can. I would have loved to have gone to A and help mop up the tanks that are over there. I know there's at least a couple. But I need to head back to B for ammo. Still, 12 kills. That's the end of the action for that game, so we'll move on now to this one, which is Italy. It is single cap, which of course makes it a little easier to decide where to go, although as you can see from the minimap, due to the spawns and the cap being the same distance away from each other, the vast bulk of players are just heading straight to the enemy spawn, so I'm not going to have too much company over here, certainly from my own team. We've already started meeting some enemies. Now once we get around the wreck of my teammate, we can try and find one of them through all this smoke. That's an M4 Sherman. He's down. Let's keep pressing up. I'm pretty sure there's more than just him here. Got a... It's not quite a reserve tank, but it's a low-level companion with me. There's one. That's that German bias for you. Using their own equipment against them. Stuart behind me. Yeah, slight speed deficit when you're driving the Churchill does mean you're quite likely to find opponents in the back. But let's skip ahead. There's no point showing the capturing at that point. Obviously, we all know what it entails, and it's mostly just sitting still. So, some more of my team have arrived here now, as have some more of the enemy. There's a little bit of a scrap going on here. Don't want this chaffee to escape, so go for the engine. And I don't know if he just burnt out very quickly or he J'd out, but he's down. Just spotted another tank off to the left. They're all around us, every side of the map. They've completely looped around. Although none of them seem to have noticed the slow and steady Churchill in the back. There's another one on the cap as well. I'm already up to 6 kills. This has been pretty quick once I actually made it here. There is a reasonable enough amount of action here. I actually considered just leaving this video with the commentary done at the time of recording. But I wanted to talk a bit about the vehicle a bit more, and obviously I can't do that with the live commentary, so just driving back in and trying to retake this point. I've been quite fortunate that whenever the enemies have turned up, they've usually been distracted by someone else, so I haven't received a shot into my rear or side of my turret yet. I am of course trying to stay relatively near allies at all times, both as the fire distraction, but also just for backup in case I do get into problems. It does rather increase the likelihood of assists, of course. You know, this 6-pounder is actually very good for this tier, but it's still not the most reliable for one-shotting, so there's a good chance I'll hit something and then it'll be followed up by an ally killing it, but that's preferable to me dying, so stay with support. Got another German Churchill with me here. We can hang around together. Enemies will possibly think twice about attacking 2 heavily armoured tanks. Cheat house shotgun in the distance. Nice high velocity for this gun as well, so it's not too bad for sniping, and it maintains its pen pretty well at range as well. Not quite as well as the Panzer IV's long 75 does, but it's good enough. There's a lot of shots going off, a lot of engagements, most of which I won't get there in time for. I am slow. There's only so much you can do to hunt your enemy down. But this game is wrapping up quite nicely for us so far. We've taken good control of the cap. We've got a lot of players around there. The enemy are slowly being pushed back in terms of how much map they control. Although there's still the odd random vehicle around, like this Valentine, which just managed to knock out my barrel. Stop, angle my turret so that he's got a harder shot onto the thicker bits of the armour. Give it a little wiggle just in case, and pray he doesn't hit my turret ring, really. There are enemies still all over the place, despite how much of the map we control and how many players went straight through the town at the start. They're still coming just out the woodwork all around us. We're mopping them up quite nicely with this rapid fire gun. I only wish I could get this sort of performance out of my British Churchill Mark III. It is an identical tank, but as said, it's all about the opponents you fight. Not only would I be far less likely to bounce a shot if I was driving my British Churchill, but I would probably have a lot less teammates around me. The German and Russian team combination is pretty overwhelming. Really pushes hard against all those Cromwells and Shermans. So even if you do manage to survive sort of the initial engagements, you're gonna find yourself surrounded pretty quickly by very strong guns. Unlikely to make it this far through a game with the British Churchill. Certainly, in my experience, I'm sure there are people out there who can do absolutely fantastically with it. But for me, the German one is by far the best. It's by far the most playable of the Churchills available to us. We're already up to 10 kills again here. And just pushing back into their spawn, really. So, just a quick skip for one final kill, and nothing impressive, but no reason to leave it out of the video either. Just show the full extent of the game. And then that just about wraps this one up. Now, I do have a lot more footage of this Churchill session, and I would like to use it, as I think there are a couple of solid games in there. So there will be a follow-up, Churchill Part 2, coming in the next day or so. So, sorry if you're not super interested in the Churchill, but yeah, got to use what footage I have when I have it, and preferably before the next patch appears. But for now, that is all. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.